Yep, you're in the picture.
So I'm going to try to get through this as quick as possible. Like I said, thank you for being here. I know these meetings aren't fun. I'm actually going to try to do these. I'm going to get them on the calendar soon, but I want to do one now at the start of summer and at the start of fall. I've done some online since COVID and all that kind of stuff. I want to do them in person. I'll film it. If you can be here, if at all possible, I want you here. I'll film it so others can see it. But I'm going to get those on the schedule so you can mark them down. That way you can have them in your calendar. If you have, if your address or phone number has changed, please text or email me. I think I have all of your phone numbers except maybe Rosa. So you're the special one. But it's okay because, I mean, I barely got Greg's, not that long ago. So, no, it's good. I think my wife got, I wasn't trying to shame them, preacher. But I will need to get your, at some point, just if you guys could shoot me a text, Greg, send me her number and address. That'd be awesome. And then you guys are on the Remind, I think. Okay, so if you're not getting Remind messages and you want to get Remind messages, I can tell you how to do that. Let me know later. If it's been around so long, I didn't put it on there, and most of you I thought were already on there anyway. But I think that's about it. The kids, make sure your students are on. I did a group me where a lot of them weren't fond of the group text because some of the kids don't know how to do a group text very well. So I changed back to group me, and I'm going to stick with it. I told them make sure they're on it and make sure the notifications are on because sometimes if they don't like something, the notifications will shut off. And so I created one that's I'm only talking, and then there's one that was the first one I created that I thought I could change that and I couldn't, so it's kind of turned into if they want to use it as a group chat, those who want to turn off the notifications can, super easy, and it works out for everybody much better. And nobody's like muting the whole chat, so they don't get the messages. Other than that, if you have any questions about communication, or if you have any changes that you need to give me, phone number or otherwise, let me know. I put some goals here. I'm not going to harp on them or labor on them too long, but one of the things I did want to talk about is one of my goals this year, the two main ones as far as like progressing the youth ministry is I have got to do a better job of getting parents involved. In the beginning, I feel like I did a lot better job. COVID hit. My nature is whenever something people are gone or you have something hit or it's like you're trying to manage without, like when the church shut down or whatever. I go into try to do it all in my own mode. It doesn't work very well. But I also acknowledge that for a time maybe that was what I needed to do, but I need to do a better job of getting you involved now. And so some of the things that you'll have to sign up for tonight hopefully will lead to opportunities to get more involved. But I want you to know, I want you to partner in this ministry with me and that you are invited to come in and be a part of it and be a sponsor and be an adult leader and be a host or hostess, as we'll talk about later. All these different opportunities to come and be a part of what we do here. Jody and Aaron have already started the This Is It stuff. I don't think they've gotten JJ up here yet. Like the plan, have they? Have they gotten you up here?
They will.
I thought you were excited about it, but like I know others have come.
We haven't told her about JJ versus JJ bits yet.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't. You haven't told me about it either. So
Boy, JJ. Boy club.
refocus. So, but thank you to the parents that have been coming, especially in my absence. But I encourage you to keep coming as adult volunteers and leaders, and I want to get with everybody that I haven't got with before to go over just our policies for our adult volunteers. I need to get that done, and then we do background checks and all that, which I think most people probably did that if they haven't already with the kids ministry stuff. So that's the spill I wanted to give on that. But I need you, and our kids need you, and it makes it feel more full. And even if you think, my kid doesn't want me there on Wednesday night, they don't care. They don't mind, for the most part, except maybe Roxy's. But don't get over it, and they don't mind. And I will make sure, like if we split into small groups, like you won't be with your kid, right? So they'll feel more comfortable, as best as I can possibly do it, right? But if I only have like 3 girls there, and I have some female adult sponsors, well, if your daughter's there and you're one of the only ones, it may have to be it, or I might be able to step in. We'll try to do our best to do that. But there's a lot of other opportunities that you can do and be a part without actually coming over here and sitting right next to them in Bible class. And some of them might need you to sit right next to them in Bible class. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. The other part of what Cassandra and I together have talked about in our ministries is we want to encourage and empower parents to disciple your students at home. I know you guys probably have your own ways of doing these things, but I want to take another step in my ministry, and Cassandra and I have talked about it, into creating resources and also creating things that you can share between you and your kid and the youth ministry, doing it all at once. And I'll talk some about the big first thing in just a second. But that's something that we are going to be working on this year because I think that's important. I'm not even the greatest with my kids. We're working through what the best rhythm is for us to do. Right now, we're doing these short, nightly, daily devotionals. And so we're working to see what's going to work best for us, but we're also working on this at home. And Nat told me I need to work on this with everybody else as well. Not that you don't have your own rhythms and your own things that you do, but I know sometimes it's, man, I just don't know what to do. And maybe if I do a better job of empowering, then it happens at home. And that's, I mean, you guys know, they're with me 10% of the time, well, 5% tops maybe of the time that they're, compared to what they are, the amount of time they spend with you. So that's where the discipleship happens, is at home. It happens here when they're here with us, when they go on trips, and when they're here out on Wednesdays and Sundays, and I do my best to disciple them to the best of my ability. But I would be ignorant to think that the majority of what they need happens at home. So that's what I'm trying to do a better job of this year as well. And then the last two is something that I've obviously been trying to do, but I wanted to point out, to help students develop a deeper personal connection, relationship with God. That's part of what just reading the Bible in the New Testament in a year is. Teaching them that reading your Bible is a connection to God. We talked today about the inspiration of the Bible. And we talked about all of God's words being inspired and what the purpose of these words were for as we embark on this journey to read the New Testament. And also, we're going to talk even more about prayer and that connection and ways that they can connect on their own or with you guys even. And so that's something that I need to do a better job with, because you can tell all students need help figuring out how to connect in a meaningful way. And I need to do a better job of that. So that's one of my goals. And the last one, for students to take ownership and lead within the group / the church. And so like today, Marshall's up there on stage. That's awesome. Thank you. I think Aaron for asking the family and getting Marshall up there. We had, Reed read some scripture, which is really cool. They're at a volleyball tournament today, unfortunately, so I can't brag on her in front of everybody. But those are types of things we're going to try to build in. I've talked with Aaron even to create opportunities of scripture readings and other things like I think you did. I came down with your wife for Kids Church. I didn't see, but I knew Kai was reading some scripture today. And so creating opportunities for all of our students to be able to partake in that, male and female, if they're comfortable getting up there and doing things of that nature. And as we expand some of the things we do in worship, offering that to our students, but also within youth ministry, right? So we're going to have a leadership group that is going to meet, I think, every Wednesday, maybe every other. I've got to decide. I'm going to create a framework of that. And any student that wants to be involved can. I'm going to encourage some that have been here a while or that I expect to be leaders to do that. But at the same time, any student, any age, is allowed or encouraged to come be a part of this. We're going to try to end at 7:45 and start that meeting and go to 8:15. 30 minutes, get them in, get them out. But allow them to take ownership, give them jobs within the youth ministry. I mean, Addison was talking today. They told me, the student ministry Instagram is pretty weak. And I was like, yeah, I never do anything with it because I'm not the one that even created it, right? I'm terrible with social media, and it's been, actually, I love not being on Facebook. It's been great. I check like once a month. But I feel bad because I miss stuff. But at the same time, I said, yeah, Addison, do you want to take control of that? She's like, yeah, I'll be the social media person. So they asked me today about stuff like, oh, we need a youth group TikTok. And I'm like, that would be kind of cool, except I, at my core, hate TikTok. So it's like this, I told them I would have this conversation, but I mean, any of those social media networks, we all know, can lead very quickly to inappropriate content and content that is detrimental to their development. So that's something I have to wrestle with. If you guys have ideas or concerns with that, let me know. But that is something that I'll be wrestling with. And I told the kids that we could talk about, because I think that would be a cool way to have an encouraging presence on something that can be used in multiple varying ways. And if it's something they'll get into and take charge of, maybe I'll get on board. Because it's not, my kids probably won't have TikTok. I say probably, they won't. Unless my wife talks me out of that. I doubt she will. But that's not saying that I'm shaming anybody that does. So that's my internal struggle there. But we are going to work to provide other positions besides social media coordinator. But there'll be other things that I will come up with job descriptions of and allow them to take ownership. So that way they not only are a part of what we do, they take ownership of what we do. And I think that'll be big in hopefully creating a consistency, want to be a part of something. And also, when you own something and you're helping within, maybe it's the teaching or run something, it gives you this feeling of empowerment and leadership that leads to other positive things. So, all right. I dwelled on that maybe a little longer than I wanted to. So, Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings, you guys pretty much know the drill at this point. But as a part of this, I have some things that I'm going to pass around as far as signups go. So we're going to open up the youth room at 6, but we're not starting at 6. Like, I'm not expanding to 2 hours. When we got rid of Wednesday night worship, I actually, for youth-wise, from a time standpoint, it was cool that I could create something beyond the 45 minutes to an hour, and then parents are waiting and they're ready to go home. But the other part of that is there's not Wednesday night Bible classes for parents. And part of that, sometimes it's harder to get some kids here. But at the same time, that's not a shame to anybody either, but sometimes it's more convenient when I've already had that plan to go up there, and I can take them up there, and I can be up there, and then I can stay up there, and I can get some edification from the Word myself, and then I can take my kid home. So I get that that's part of the deal. But allowing us to expand to an hour and a half for a couple reasons. Now, it doesn't work for JJ as well because they live in Dewey. I know that. But I guess if you're dropping her off for an hour, you might be able to find something to go do a little easier. So maybe it doesn't work for everybody perfectly. But if you live here in Bartlesville, you drop them off, you have more time at home, and then you come get them. Maybe Dewey over there too. Sorry, I didn't want to leave my other Dewey family out. But it has allowed us to do something I hope will be bigger and better. Jody and Aaron has agreed to lead some of the upfront stuff in the beginning. I did. They're better at it, and that's okay. And they're getting a lot of people involved. Jose is going to have a funny thing coming through. I don't think he's done it yet, has he? Has Jose done his?
No, he was asking me about one solo.
One solo, okay. Well,
one solo.
And so we're excited to get that. And so if you have ideas, Greg's already put on a bunny costume and threw Sour Patch Kids all over the youth room floor, I hear. So
it was one of the more disturbing bits we've ever done, actually.
So we now know anybody Greg's size or bigger cannot use the bunny costume. We can put on the head.
Oh no, that bit's gonna happen again. Oh yeah, it was so funny.
Could you get some fake chest hair next time? Would that?
I was like, shimmy out this thing.
So there are opportunities to come make a fool of yourself in front of your kids and embarrass them. But they've agreed to do that. We're trying to incorporate worship every night, whether it's a couple worship videos that we're going to sing along to, whether we have songs that we sing, etc., and then followed by a time of prayer, and then we lead into the lesson. And so I'm trying to make it almost like a service with maybe a few more extreme jokes than we would have on a Sunday morning, right? A little more lively than that. But I want it to be a student service, and so they get the whole thing. And then I'll teach in 30 to 45 minutes. That's the goal. And so if we do the leadership, that in those nights, we'll end at 7:45 there. They'll have that. Kids can hang out. But that's kind of what we're doing on Wednesdays. We're trying to structure it in a way that not only will make kids want to be here more, but also will give them a space to potentially get up front and do some leadership stuff. It gets more adults involved, makes it seem fuller, but it just becomes more of a family atmosphere that we're doing stuff together. And I do want to get the worship to be regular, and as we get more and more students and we get more comfortable singing together, I would love to have just like singing night. Call it catacombs. Go into a room, turn off, make it dark, put on some candles, and just sing somewhere with better acoustics than the youth room. At least I'm told they don't have good acoustics by Jody. I wouldn't know. So that's on Wednesday. On Wednesday, there are opportunities. If you want to be a discussion leader or a volunteer, there's going to be a sign up for that. And then there's also a sign up for the host/hostess/host couple, whatever you want to call it. But on those, it is important that position is here at 6, because what we're doing, I'll pass it over here to Nicolette. If you're not ready to sign up, because you don't know yet, that's fine. I will send this out via email, and I'll have clickable links, and you can click on them and go sign up. If you're on the fence, just sign up. Because I need you, but also, if you wait, you're going to talk yourself out of it. Let's be real. We know how that works. But on Wednesday night, the host or hostess, you'll be behind the counter over there. You're greeting kids when they come in. We'll set up. A lot of times we've had popcorn lately, at least I think, because I haven't been here. Like I said, I've been quarantined. And but we'll have a different snack on Wednesdays. We'll have the hot drinks. We'll have, maybe a different drink or whatever, some water that we'll have. And your job is to greet the kids, talk to the kids, get them a drink, get them a snack. And it does two things. One, it creates more adults that they have a relationship with, that they see the face, they know the face, and they have conversations with. And two, it keeps my kitchen way cleaner whenever students aren't back there. And so we're trying to create a space to where, it helps me out too, but it's also not a free-for-all. Students see the parameters, they know the expectations, they get to see the host or hostess. And you guys stick around, come out here in Bible class. If you want to also help be a discussion leader, great. If you just want to hang in the back and, participate that way by being a part of it and singing with us or whatever, you can do that. And then just help clean up in the end in the kitchen, and that's it. Take your kid home. And so that's just being a host. As far as volunteers go, I can incorporate you in different ways. If you want to be up front stuff, if you want to be down here as a discussion leader, because sometimes we'll break up into groups and we'll have some questions, and you'll help direct a discussion. And sometimes it may be, hey, Jacob, I want you to lead this group, and then Jose, you're with Jacob's group. And so you make sure Jacob's keeping on track and doing a good job, but also a student has leadership. You're there with them. You're chiming in, giving your answers, and you're helping to shape the discussion while a student leader is also doing the same thing. And so that gives me direction in every group, but also I can still allow students to have that freedom to lead. And I can walk around. When it's just me, it was difficult because I'm trying to get a discussion from everybody. And to be quite honest, sometimes that can be a little difficult. We have 7th through 12, and when you do that, it's different maturity levels. And so this way I can get maybe, hey, 7th grade or middle school boys are here, middle school girls are there for the discussion, high school, fill in the blank. I can do some different things and create a better space for everybody involved. So that's those opportunities on Wednesdays. On Sunday, this sign-up's a little different. It has dates. And I skipped some dates that we'll have most of the youth gone. But I've created a breakfast sign-up. In the past, I've had, Keisha's done this before, and Tracy Sparks, I know, has done this before, and Aaron had other people help out. But sometimes they would just take ownership of it, and they just went and got breakfast, and they brought it that morning and allowed for the kids to have breakfast. I had bananas and donuts and some orange juice, and I kept it simple today. I always have oatmeal out there. So essentially, if you're signing up for breakfast, if this is something you want to take on and coordinate, I would love to delegate some of this stuff to where I'm not the one necessarily overall. I know you're like, that's what I get paid to do, but at the same time, delegating is also something I have to get better at. I'm terrible at it. I always have been. Even when I was a head baseball coach. My assistant, outside of 1 year, didn't know what they were doing. I had either a young guy or I had a guy that just didn't know baseball, was great at helping me out. Just didn't know baseball. And that's okay. I had great assistants. But at the same time, I was required to be everything to everyone. And so that's kind of been a lot of what I've had to do. And it also fits my personality. And so you want to take this and be in charge of this, have other people sign up, but you're sending out the communication and you're making sure people are signed up for it. I will be in communication with you. I can help you out if need be. But let me know on that. If not, I'm going to pass this around. I do have dates that you can sign up for. Even if we don't fill the whole sheet, that's fine. Because I'll keep sending stuff out to hound you or whoever wants to help me out to do that. And if we have some off weeks, I can pick that up. But I would prefer to allow you guys to be involved that way. And when you bring breakfast, the idea is bring it, probably have it ready no later than 8:45. If the kids get here early, they can come eat. Then go to worship, right? Be there for 10 minutes, make sure it's out. Kids can have it, talk to the kids. But really, when are they probably going to come eat? It's going to be right after worship. That's why I'm not going to make you get here that early. But come right after worship, come down here, help them get what they need. It can be you and a spouse. It can be just you. It can be you and a friend that's a parent in the youth group. Doesn't matter. But just be down here. You're basically the host of Sunday morning. But it only requires a lot less time because it's 15 minutes between worship and class. We'll start class. You help me clean up just a little bit. Go to your Bible class. All good. So that's what that would entail on Sunday mornings. Any questions so far? I put on the agenda that there may be some time for potential teaching roles. If that's something you feel gifted at, you can talk to me, and we may split up sometimes on Sundays. And we can go from there. So I did put on there audio, video, and if you want to get involved with Upfront Games, let Jody or Aaron know. But also the audio, video stuff. If you want to help me run Pro Presenter and the Spotify and help kind of do the production crew, I know with what Jody and Aaron are doing, that would be a big help. And it's a lot easier not to have to worry about that and have someone back there. That was one of the first things that I did when I got involved as a volunteer in the youth group. Is Aaron got me plugged in there, and I did it at a retreat. And then I end up now I'm cutting up our videos on Sunday morning, and I had zero video editing experience, So it leads to some cool things. Yeah. And Jody, I'm going to hit up Reese about that too. We'll see if I can talk him into it, but that's one of my leads on that. Okay. The Bible Project, New Testament in a Year. So the link, I know I say click here and you have a physical copy. You will get a copy just like this through email that you can click on. But your students that are already in this plan should be able to give you the link and sign up with them. This is an invitation for parents and students to be a part of this. If you want to do your own New Testament in a year and not be a part of our group discussion, that's okay too. But here's my encouragement. This is starting February 1st. I wanted to start earlier than that. I've been gone for 3 weeks with a trip to Atlanta before it, and then with Winterfest in between after testing negative, and then my kids get it. So it's been a roller coaster. But we're going to start February 1st. That's Tuesday. All the kids did February 1st today. We've done Matthew chapter 1 already. And Aaron taught Matthew chapter 2 to them already. So they honestly should be 3 days ahead. But this is one of the things that I wanted to create for you to be able to do this with your kids. I told the kids today, I said, if you follow along and you're reading daily, and I'll probably give them a number of, hey, if you miss 10 days, out of that many or whatever, I understand that, right? There's some leeway there. But you're following along daily, you read it, you make your one sentence post at the end about, discussion topic. If you want to chime in on the discussion, great. But I said, if you follow along all year and you read through the New Testament with me, I'm going to get them together and we're going to talk about, I'm giving some options. We're going to go on a trip, maybe a day trip, maybe a 2-day trip. We'll figure it out. But part of me doesn't like, saying, oh, this is your reward for reading the Bible. But at the same time, if they are doing that and they're discussing, this is a big task. This is a daunting task to most of your kids. Daunting to me. It may feel daunting to you sometimes, right? Because we have life and we get busy. But this is something, if they accomplish, and even if you're just coming alongside them and reading it with them and you're doing it through theirs and you're pushing them to read every day, that's perfect. Because if they accomplish this, we're going to go somewhere. And it's going to be cool. We're going to do something fun. And if we can find something near, I would love to take this group all the way to Kentucky to see the Ark, because that would be neat, But it might be a little far. It's I think I mapped it. It's 10 to 11 hours.
I thought you were going to say Israel, so that sounds...
Well, I mean, the church did just get a big donation. No. So that's kind of what we're doing there. You will have a link that you can either sign up with us, or it's the Bible Project New Testament in a Year. I chose that. They have their videos embedded within it. It's broken up. You guys know, if you do the New Testament in a full year, it's like a chapter a day. It's very doable. And sometimes maybe less in some of those longer chapters. It's 5 to 7 minute commitment. That's with writing the little comment. And that's with slower readers. So I encourage you, as my first goal of getting parents and students to interact together with the Bible and with the Word, is this. Because what we're going to do on Sunday mornings is I'm going to teach the 6 to 7 chapters that we read that week. And we're going to go through the whole Testament, New Testament, and that's what I'm going to be teaching them. And so we'll hit, I may not teach all 7 chapters when I teach, but I may hit some of the high points or hit some of the important truths that I feel like we need to talk about the most. But just to do a deep dive of the Bible to continue to get them more comfortable with reading it on their own. And that's part of the connection thing. So hopefully you guys like that plan. But this is my invitation to you to get involved with something with your kid that doesn't take a lot of time and that I think you will enjoy doing. And I think you'll be, man, I'm excited for it because I really think everybody's going to be blessed when they do that with their kids. I'm guessing in a year, those of you that participate and you come back to me, you're going to be like, it's awesome, talking about the Bible with my kid, and we're doing it every day, and they've read the whole New Testament now, and I know they have, and I know they've learned about it. Like, that's cool to me. So that's what we're doing. Okay, the next one I can go through pretty quick. Trips and big events, they're all right there. There's going to be smaller things that are added in between, and I'll probably try to put something in a calendar form because some of you guys like that more than just the dates, but at least these dates you can get on your calendar. When we're in town, we're meeting on Wednesdays. And so that's pretty simple, and when we're in town, I'm teaching on Sundays. So that part is pretty much given. I'm going to talk to our leadership group, and I'm going to try to figure out other ways that we can get involved during the week to see what they want to do. Not just me saying, hey, we're going to have a Bible study, come to it. It's hey, what do you guys want to do to connect to each other and connect to the Word? One of the things that I didn't mention, if you have any questions on those dates, just let me know. The pressing ones I should, before I go too far. If you want, or your student wants to go on that retreat to Petty John, that Jody is, are you considered director of this one too? You're the head honcho, the big cheese? Come on, I love that phrase. I have these. If you want one of the flyers, how about this? I'll give them to Aaron. You pass them around. If you know your kid already has one, don't take one. If you know your kid's not going, don't take one. That easy. But we're leaving Friday after school. And we'll head down to Petty John together. We'll get back Sunday evening. Jody, what do you think? After. So we're leaving pretty in the morning after worship on Sunday. Okay. So we'll get back Sunday early afternoon. Perfect. And they'll have plenty of time to get their homework done, that sort of stuff. And then, so that's this weekend. The next weekend is our Valentine's Banquet. And the reason why I chose Sharpies, by the way, is because I didn't know which pens worked. The Valentine's Banquet, I have some things already lined up. There's another volunteer sheet coming around. Again, if you're on the fence, just sign up. But with the Valentine's Banquet, we've done it for a long time. Most of you have been a part of it before. It's going to be a little different from the standpoint of the decorations. We're not going to have to come up here on Saturday because they're having the dance. And they're going to actually, I think, have 10 to 12 tables out for us. And so it's going to be very minimal. I'll talk to Cassandra. She's in talks with the PTO president and see what they're doing for centerpieces. That might be the extent of what I might need to do. Centerpieces. And so we'll do that on Sunday morning. But the other volunteers I need will be to help in the kitchen, to help with cleanup crew, to help with just coming and being a part and helping organize the kids. So like, I actually think it was Keisha who did this last time. She would be at the door with the kids who are the servers, and she would tell them what to do. Hey, this table needs some. She'd keep track of that, so someone to organize that while I'm doing some emceeing and while I'm going around. And we usually have our kids. If you don't know what this is, it's a banquet that we have to honor our 50-plus members. I did call them old people from the stage, and I didn't get half as much grief as Aaron did when he did it. So I don't know why. They just like me better. But we do this. We didn't do it last year because of COVID, and we did the Great Awakening instead, where we delivered cookies. I think we had 10 families involved that delivered cookies to 60 homes in our congregation. A lot of them have still not been able to come back to church. They're elderly. Some have passed since, and they were able to get some visits from our members. It was really good. So I know a lot of you participated in that. This year we're actually going to do the banquet in person, and it's going to be a cool deal. I am going to be thinking through another way we can serve our shut-ins again. I think it's important for our students and families to be able to participate in that. Be a lot less home since we're putting on the banquet.
This thing you gave me here is Valentine's Banquet and mission trip signups.
I was going to pass it around again. I just ran out of clipboards. But yes, it is. I'll get to that. But the Valentine's Banquet is, we'll have, I haven't decided the game yet. Usually I'll do a trivia. Maybe I'll do like a Through the Generations trivia deal. They'll play games. They eat dinner together. Our students sit at tables. Like I tell them 2 people from the youth group, you get a partner. Like you get like one person. You're like, okay, come with me. But you're going and you're sitting with those individuals that we're serving. So you serve, you sit with them, you communicate, you meet people that you may not have met, and they love it. Both. My youth always are afraid of doing it. They always have great conversations, even the ones that are introverted and awkward, which is like all of them. And so, but they have great conversations, and our crowd that we're honoring loves it. They love having that conversation. So that's what we do. Our kids serve the meal. Drew Williams is going to smoke the chicken. So we're going to have chicken again. What I'll need help with that morning, and I think Micah said he's going to help me with the kitchen too, so I got some more kitchen help, is we need to prepare the sides. If you guys have good ideas for that, my ideas would be like green beans and scalloped potatoes. But if we have better ideas, you're like, oh. Lauren, you send me some ideas, and we'll make it happen. But I'll need help in the kitchen that morning. The kids will help do anything.
She just volunteered.
I think she did with that face. Her face volunteered her. You need to have less physical emoting. So, hey, is Taylor in here? Goodness. So we'll have needs before church in the morning. Everybody will get to go to worship. During Bible class, I'll have the kids help me with what we need. I may need a couple of you to help mine stuff in the kitchen to make sure we're ready to serve. But that's it. And if anybody is just a good purchaser and you want to go get like the plates and the food and the sides and something like that, I would love to delegate that to you. So if you want to sign up and put that on there, Walmart run, whatever, do it. Okay. Intern Fundraiser is to be determined. I am calling today, actually, to offer an internship to a student intern. Her name is Macy. And Jody and I know her through her internship in Bixby last year and through camp. I've done 3 interviews with her. I brought on 4 of our students to help in the interview process. And so we're going to go through and we're going to do a fundraiser for it, and we're going to fund an intern. I know that, last year we didn't have one. We did a ton. I will tell you, if someone asked, I sat in an elder meeting and I had an elder ask me, he said, why do you need an intern? I don't need an intern. I get paid to do my job, and I don't do any less when I have an intern. But what an intern allows us to do, especially a female intern, allows them to dig in maybe where I can't. They're also closer to their age. I'm 39. I know, I'm old. The kids tell me all the time. But I relate, I taught, so I can relate and do my best. But at the end of the day, you get a student that's a college female, she can relate to those girls better than I can. As much as I hate to say that, I want to be the best at everything I do. I'm not. I can't do that. I love our girls. I try to relate to them. I try to serve them in a good way. But the interns I have seen do some really good things. And we have a good feeling about this one. Every girl that was on the interview had positive things to say about Macy. And so that's hopefully she will accept the position, and we'll do a fundraiser. Last time we did a chili cook-off. I'm open to ideas if you didn't like that. I don't know. I know they've done spaghetti dinners, and I'm not going to do a car wash in the winter, and car wash never makes enough money anyway. Depending on what you do. But if you have ideas for fundraisers, I'm open to them. If not, I'll be working through that, and we're going to do one. We'll pull it off, and I want to pull it off before spring break if possible, so it's something I'm going to get in the works real quick. If I can't, it'll be right after spring break, because then we got stuff hitting pretty heavy. Aaron, I did want to ask you this morning, I forgot to add it. All church retreat, I don't have it on my calendar for some reason.
It's the week before
8, 9, 10.
Of April?
April 8, 9, 10.
Okay, so yeah, that may be a better time between spring break and all church retreat. So if you want to put on there, the all church retreat is April 8th through the 10th. We're going to Burnt Cabin, and all people, families, old, young, kids, young and old, whatever. Everybody's invited to come. Burnt Cabin will fit our whole church. And I think it'll be a really cool thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to create maybe separate tracks for kids and youth and adults. And that way our youth get a good youth retreat, our adults still get their own, and then our kids even, because it's really hard to worship with, hard to have a meeting with kids. No. Hey, Marshall, you guys trap them in a web like. So that's the All Church Retreat, April 8th through 10th. The sign-ups will be coming from that soon, Aaron? Jody? Aaron?
Yeah.
Soonish. Soonish. Put that on your calendar, though, because it'll be a really cool thing. I'm just excited because I'll get to get away and spend time with other people that are above the age of 18. So I don't get to do a lot of that. All right. The float trip is normal for juniors and seniors. If I don't have enough juniors and seniors sign up this year, I may take sophomores. So if you are a sophomore parent, get ready. You may get involved with that as of now. I've only taken juniors and seniors. If we have, 4 or 5 juniors and seniors, it's all I'll take. That's what I've done. It's a tradition that I started that I think our kids enjoy. We will go to Arkansas and float the buffalo. We went to the Elk River once. We went to Buff. I just like Arkansas. Like the terrain. The hikes were better. The float was a little tougher. Some Class 2 rapids there, but it was fun. It just got cold and rainy at one point, so I think the girls were not happy. But they had a good time. They said they had fun. So, 7th grade induction will be the day after that. That's on a Thursday. So that Wednesday night, I may have something fun, but if we're getting back on Wednesday morning, I'm not having Wednesday night church. We'll move it to Thursday because it's summer at that point. We don't have school. And depending on plans, I'll have to go back and look at last year. If it's a Monday, Tuesday thing, or maybe we leave Sunday night. So those dates could move by a day, maybe. I don't plan on that. It's not what we did last year, but potentially, just to give you a heads up. And then Senior Sunday is May 15th. I don't know why I put that out of order. That bothers me in my OCD, so I apologize if it bothers you. If you have a senior, that stuff will be getting pushed out to you soon. So I'm trying to think who all has seniors in here. Rosa and Greg. That's it. That's in here. I'm trying to think. Lisa, so I have to talk to the Browns. Billy. Yeah, no, they're not. So what we do with Senior Sunday, we're not doing the drive-through this year. It's something that I think people especially like during the COVID year, both the people that are members and our seniors and families. Last year, Corey, would you say okay attended, but
It was okay attended. We really liked it because you
Did
had
you?
opportunity to talk to people. So, when we do Senior Sunday the way we do it, the people go visit the tables, but then you don't have any interaction with them.
okay.
But so maybe just finding a way to have interaction. Having
Okay.
more interaction about it.
That's the part I loved about it
We
too.
had a lot of people that commented how much they liked that because they got to actually talk to the kids. They found out what their plans were, what they were doing.
Okay.
They had conversations with them.
And so, Rosa, what that is, Greg, what that is we set up tables in our little roundabout in front of the church. We did it the first year because it was a COVID year, and we moved back our Senior Sunday. So we did senior drive-through before graduation. You set up a table. You have, just like you've probably seen before, get those. A lot of people get the trifolds. You bring up, maybe you have a special tablecloth or a color, but you can bring letter jackets or pictures or trophies or awards, or like Marisa will have artwork that you could display. Just whatever describes and your kid is either accomplished or describes their personality or whatever you want to put out there. It's up to you. Obviously, it has to be appropriate, Greg. But it's really cool. And so the people would drive through and they would talk to each individual table. Because on Senior Sunday, those tables go into the back of the room. And I have our seniors stand by them right after worship last time, but now we only had 15 minutes in between. So maybe I talk with Aaron and maybe we build something into Bible class now that we have that freedom. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's good.
And maybe we can pull that off without the drive-through. If not, do you think that level of work setting up for the drive-through, and it was cold and windy that night, but do you think that level of work was worth,
It was crazy cold in May.
do you think it was worth it though for what the turnout and everything?
We enjoyed it.
Okay, so that's good feedback. I could throw that in there because I do like it, and if people like
have
it.
the opportunity for people to, like you said, like maybe incorporate it into Bible class.
Okay.
Or something that just, the feedback that we got from people was, especially the older people, really enjoyed that time to just
Yes.
talk to kids.
Because they don't get to.
They don't get that opportunity very often.
And they didn't even have the Valentine's banquet there, so.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
if we lined all our old people up and we had the teens drive?
There we go. Teams drive by.
So-
they just talk.
Hey, but I think we can build something out to where it's almost like we incorporate in Bible class, but it's actually, it could even give our members an opportunity to maybe write. I mean, they might already write encouraging notes, but maybe to do something
Yeah.
to honor the
It is
senior
a
Sunday.
cool
We can
idea.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on with that. So I'll talk with Aaron there, and we'll go there. But Senior Sunday is set in stone May 15th. That's the week before graduation. They don't have to wear their cap and gown. They'll come on Sunday. We'll have a slideshow. All that information will be put out to you. And it's cool. I basically do it very similar to what Aaron did because he did a great job with it, and I think it's worked out well. Okay. The rest of that on there, mission trip, Camp Pettyjohn. I've skipped Houston Impact, so we'll get to that. I didn't even put that on the big dates.
Is Trek off the calendar for sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I had one person sign up that was interested. So that told me everything I needed to know. I guess I didn't do a good enough job hyping it. I'm going to pass around. I'm going to skip back to the Impact mission trip. I need to know student or parent if you want to go. I know Roxy has communicated with me. She may have had to leave. But if you know your student's going to go with us on spring break, I have the dates on there. It's the 12th or the 13th. I have to communicate with them a little bit more. We're either going to leave on the Saturday or the Sunday of the first weekend of spring break, coming back on the Friday of spring break. And we're going to Houston. And what we do on this mission trip, I've never been. I've talked to a lot of people that have, and they love it. And this church used to go for a long time, but the Houston Impact Church of Christ works in inner city Houston. And they work with students in the inner city. They bring them to the church. It's a long-time program. And a lot of kids come in there, groups of all sizes. If I have, 8 to 10 kids, if I have 8 kids that want to go on this mission trip, we'll go. That's my bar, to go all the way to Houston on spring break. If we end up having 6 or 7, maybe I'll change my mind. But that's kind of in my head to make it worth. Well, it's always worth it. But just from the resource standpoint of, hey, we're going to go here on spring break, that's about my number. We had 12 to 14 kids signed up the first year we were going to go. And then COVID hit. We canceled 2 days before spring break started. And then Friday the 13th was my last day in the office. I have that on my calendar. I never turned the little office calendar off. It's there as a reminder. I don't know why. So what we do is we go down, they house us, and they do it for $10 a day. They feed us breakfast and lunch and give us housing for $10 a person per day. We work with the kids VBS style, but it's like a day camp more VBS style, and they get to work with kids most of the day. We go eat dinner. So the only cost for this, it's I think 60 is what I decided. So the only cost is 60 plus dinners. And that's for a full week in Houston. One of the days I told them I would get them to the beach. It's about an hour and a half drive. We'll head down there. It may not be a long stint at the beach, but if you like the beach and you want to hear the ocean, here's your chance. So if you want to be a sponsor or your students are interested in going, put them on there. I'm going to have that locked in by this week because I want to give them notice if I can't get enough to go. And I hate talking like that. I just know spring break can be a tough time, and since we put it off and we hadn't started it yet, man, if it had went that first year, kids are going to love it. And if you go as a volunteer, I know you're going to love it. It's one of those things. My whole family's going. If we go, Cassandra, the kids, me, all going. So I'm excited about that. Sign up. Make sure your student signs up. And I'm going to send some more stuff about that this week so I can get more signatures. Okay. I got to push this along quickly.
When will those mission trips dates not be tentative?
So that hopefully tonight. I've been in communication with Kendall before, so that's vague for some people. Is the mission trip on there? Did I send around the mission trip yet? Oh, it's up here. So let's get to the mission trip.
Impact or summer mission trip?
I'm just talking about this. It says tentative for.
Oh, this week.
June-
This week.
June
I will know this week.
18th.
Oh, June 8th. Okay, so that one. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, it is.
The mission trip sign up. The dates are tentative only because Kendall is trying to meet with everybody, and they've been out of pocket because of the holidays, and not their whole crew isn't there. Their crew's small; it's like 20 at max. And so they're trying to get with everyone to see if they think we can pull off a mission trip in West Cliff, Colorado. That allows the New Mexico kids to go on a mission trip again. We do it together. Our kids interact with the New Mexico church. It's still kind of like a vacation for Damon since he's not loving this idea of a sabbatical. And but we're trying to pull that off in Colorado. If not, the only reason why these dates are tentative is if they come back to me and say this is not a good date in Colorado. That's the only reason. If not, that's our date. So it's a very small chance that that's not going to work. But I had to put that on there just in case. I had to switch it because it's that far in advance. Kendall said he's meeting with people today finally. So hopefully I'll have an answer for you. And then I can communicate with Damon. We can get that rolling. But I'll pass that around on Mission Trip. If you want to be a sponsor, you don't have to. This is not a sign up for your kids. But we've talked about in church, and our elders talk about all the time, we want to give people an opportunity to do a mission trip. Obviously, the whole month of June is that opportunity for you if you want to go to New Mexico. But if you want to come with the youth and be a part of that, I would love to have people help out with cooking and in the kitchen, specific jobs. Some of you will help like do stuff in the VBS realm. I'll give you different jobs. But it's a fun trip. Anybody who's gone on a mission trip, they'll tell you it's a good trip. And I know Aaron's been and Jody's been and Lauren went last year. Got Lauren on the mission trip last year, yeah.
I thought you meant to Westcliff.
Oh, no. No, Corey's been on the mission trip a lot with
confusing
us.
her with Ed.
And I know Corey's maybe been the most. I'm trying to think. Corey, you may have surpassed Aaron on the most trips to New Mexico out of this crew here.
I've actually only done 2.
Really?
Maybe 3 years? 2 or 3.
Well,
2. The 2 that I've gone to State Guards, that's the only 2 years I've been.
oh man, you've been pampered.
I
So-
went last year. We just didn't go on the mission trip. We did on the way back from the.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So, sign up for the mission trip. There are jobs, and I'm trying to get parents more involved. In the past, I'd send out text messages, and sometimes I'd just send out in the remind, hey, if you want to. I'm trying to encourage push, give a little push. All right. And then Camp Petty John, I have the date on there. Send your kid to camp, not just because Jody's the director, but because I'm telling you, transformation happens when you get away from your phone and you get away from the world. And Camp Petty John is the best way away from that. Aaron loves Impact. I don't consider Impact a camp. I loved Impact. I didn't love driving that far and with the number of kids that we had at the time. But Impact is great. And if it was close, I would take our kids every year. Petty John is 3.5 hours. It's still not that close, but that's camp. You're outdoors. Your phone doesn't work. Of course, you don't have your phone. I have their phones. And I can tell you, I'm pointing the finger back at myself too, some of you have students that are addicted to their phone. And when I say some, yes. So this week, I'm telling you, and I'm gonna share this because I don't think he would mind, and I don't think you guys would mind. And I think I've shared this when I baptized him. But Marshall goes to camp, and that week transformed him. Now he's not perfect; he still has teenage angst. But man, he was a different kid when he came back from camp. And I hope you agree because I've seen it. Hopefully it's the same at home, but. I know there's always tough times. He's a teenager. But man, the maturity and the spiritual journey that he's gone on since he went to camp that year, man, it was awesome. And Brock came back and got baptized, and he was a senior, and it was just a really cool deal. I'm not saying your kids are going to go to camp and be baptized, but they're going to get connected to God. And it's going to be a good trip. So if they can, give them that opportunity. And then the back to school bash is on there, and then I go on vacation right after that. But that doesn't need to be on your calendar. That's on mine. So sign-up sheets, that's all. I think I've sent them all around. I don't have a Camp Petty John one. I don't know why I put that one on there because I don't need to know yet. But if you want to go as a counselor at Camp Petty John, Jody always needs more counselors. Well, I guess we didn't last year, but I need more people from this church because I want you to be involved in the lives of our kids. And I think you would love it. So my goal, our daughter's coming this year since I'm going. Thea gets to go in 4th grade. If you're going, it's 4th grade through graduated senior. And Cassandra's going, I'm going, Thea's going. Talon is not going. I'm joking. But I tell the kids, and they probably get tired of me telling them this, I found my faith at camp. I started going to church in high school. I go to church camp. I met more spiritual leaders. It gave me opportunities to lead in front of a bunch of kids instead of a church that was very intimidating to somebody who was unchurched. And it transformed me, and it changed my life. I'm not saying everybody is going to come back with the same story, but I can promise you your kids will be safe there. They're going to have fun there, and they're going to see Jesus there. And it's good. Jody's the director, so you can trust it. Okay. Last thing, I have the events medical waiver. Most of you guys have already turned that in, but if you haven't, please give me one. Do you guys have anything for me? If you have ideas of things that you want to lead that you think would be cool in the ministry, I would love to hear it. And I would love for you to lead it. At one point, Roxy, I think, mentioned like an encouragement wall. If I have ladies that want to do an encouragement wall, that would help me out a ton. I can do it. You'll do it better than me. That's not my gifting. You could build something way better than what I could build. I can help you through that. And I can provide you the resources and the money. But if you want to do something like that, great. If you have other ideas for the youth room, great. Bring them to me. Let's do them. If you're a floor expert and you know a lot about flooring, come help me out. We're going to replace this stuff. Hopefully this year. Right, Jody? Mm-hmm. So, if you have ideas, give them to me. This question is important. There's not a lot of you here. Well, there's quite a few. If we did a class on a Wednesday night for parents, would that be something you were interested in? It would not be an hour and a half. I won't suck you into an hour and a half. Think about it. I'll put it out there. You can tell me later. It's part of trying to provide resources. I'm not saying I'd be the teacher. If the parents would find a teacher, I could. And then if you have any topics you think would be good. I mean, I think, raising children in a technological world, man, that's the one that I would want someone to teach me. Because that's tough to navigate. And I have my ideas and thoughts, and I think I could put together a pretty good class on that. But I haven't raised kids that old yet, and some of you have, and I know Jody has, and so pretty cool. Yeah?
I think that's my comment, is if we did a class like that, we could have parents that have been there, done that. So somebody that taught it that has been through, somebody who's actually been through. Like,
they've had to navigate the same things.
Alcoholism, or kids who were introverts, or kids. I want to know people who have been there and been through the really tough stuff and made it through.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this: as a teacher, I've seen all of it.
Yeah.
As a parent, I've seen trauma. I've seen kids that have come from trauma. I'm not an expert, but I'm becoming more and more of one every day. Because we raise kids with trauma, and it's different, and they have their own struggles. And so I could be an expert on that as a parent. I haven't navigated the other. I'm pretty confident I could do the research and put on a good class. But at the same time, sometimes it just means more from people who have been there and done that. And I get that. So I'm not offended by that either.
I'm almost thinking like a panel, like you guys.
Cool.
I'm thinking, I wasn't discounting you. I was thinking more like a panel.
Oh, I didn't take any. I have no ego in this. I promise you that. As a baseball coach, I probably had too much ego, but in this, I have none. So,
is it more helpful for us to have a class for us on Wednesday nights, or for you to have our help with the youth group on Wednesday nights?
Mostly having our help, but I also want to provide that resource at times. You know what I mean? I think it's important for both. Maybe it's hey, we have a spring class for 4 weeks, and we have a fall class for 4 weeks. I think that's doable. I think, if one or two, if I pull in like one of you guys to help me with up front, I send you to class. It starts, or maybe you guys do the up front, class starts at 7. And then maybe I pull one or two, or I pull people without kids in the youth group, because Drew's coming. And I'm talking with Levi and Riata tomorrow, and I'm working on Micah. He doesn't have Wednesdays off, unfortunately, so he can't go. But there's all these other people I'm trying to bring in to the ministry as well.
So connect group style, limited run.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if Jody would ever stop stealing JJ, I'm going to try to get him involved too. JJ Blevins. He used to be youth minister too. We have 1 current and 3 former youth ministers that I know of in our congregation now. It's cool. And then we have Jose, who's planning. At one point, you're going to like Idaho, right, to be a minister.
So
5.
Yeah, Jose went 5.
That's awesome. Levi, that's right.
JJ, Jose, that's 5.
That's awesome. So that's cool. So we have a lot of resources I think we can tap into.
And we all quit.
Wait. I'm 39. Anyone last longer than 39? Levi didn't. You didn't.
Nope.
Jody did. Wow. I lasted longer than everybody. Okay.
You got a late start.
I have an idea.
COVID counts as 7 years a year.
That's right. An idea or a question for other parents. I'm thinking more summer, because I know school year's insane for all of us, but would y'all be open to the idea of like maybe doing a rotating like Sunday night Devo at our houses kind of thing?
That reminds me.
I think I'm with I think we need more of our participation. I think we need more of our participation for a host of reasons. I've been thinking back through the kids that I know whose faith survived the strongest, and overwhelmingly, almost all the time, they're the ones with the most involved parents. The ones who showed the most passion also have passionate parents. The ones who took it seriously also have parents that took it seriously. And also just think back about what made youth group really fun. It's like really the community stuff, right? Retreats, camps, mission trips, small groups. Those are the big things that make faith stick that the church puts on. But like most of my favorite memories are like going to somebody's house and doing a devotional and like hanging out or whatever, right? But he can't make that happen.
I still remember playing cards at Granny K's. I loved that game. That was awesome. We just had a small Devo in the backyard. That was great.
Right. And I know for years it's been a challenge because we've had older adults in the church that would host those things, but not as many parents that were open to doing it.
And now a lot of older adults are hesitant.
Because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
But also it's just
Yeah, I wasn't saying because they didn't want to do it, but yeah.
right. I am deeply, deeply troubled by the apathy of our teenagers. Apathy is not every single one of them, right? In different times, in different ways, but
I agree.
I'm afraid that may be a reflection of. They may be reflecting back to us what they think they're seeing. If that makes sense. I don't know. The question is too big for me to answer. I've been pondering it a lot, but I do think that the more we're involved with it, our kids will be more excited to be a part of it. As far as youth ministry,
And honestly, their friends will be more excited to come to a house to hang out. They know you. That if they're bringing their friends, they know the parents, which is what we're trying to do is build it out and disciple and bring others in, and that'd be awesome. One of the things I was going to say about Sundays, not this weekend, the next, I'm going to start just inviting kids over on Sunday nights, come play some games. 15 minutes of maybe prayer time or 15 minutes of a short Devo or a unpacking of the week. And we're just going to come over. We're going to play some games. I bought a bunch of new games at the end of last year. And we're going to go through them. And it's going to be fun.
So do you need homes opened up? I know I'm redoing mine. We've got all kinds of big screen. We've got every fun game tool. We've got the table. We've got all that.
Yeah.
Seems like if we could get like a few of us, we could just like rotate times through the summer. This is super fun.
I did a sign up
Yeah.
to do it once a month. No.
Oh.
I did when I first started. Because that's one of the things I've tried to establish Sunday nights, at least something. But I did a sign up, an all church sign up, and we had it signed up. Karen, your Granny K. I like calling her that more.
Nobody even knows her name's Karen. I think
But like,
he called her Kay for the longest time because he thought her name was Kay, but then he called her Gray Kay.
Where you're related to.
It just is what it is.
so,
No. No.
but saying that, we had some sign up, and then COVID hit. We went to a couple. We were able to execute a few of them. I had one cancel on me, I think, but then COVID hit, and it just wasn't what we were going to do at that point. And so it kind of stymied it. But I love that idea. I appreciate you bringing it out.
I was thinking through we used to say, not even joking, we used to tell parents the truth when they were looking at hiring us, that the times that we saw the largest amount of spiritual growth in youth groups was always when there wasn't a youth minister. And it wasn't because of the youth minister. We were saying that when they were hiring us, it was because all the parents stepped up to lead. And teens seeing their parents step up, then also the teenagers ownership it. So they owned it and their parents owned it. And then the youth minister would get hired and the parents would go, oh, I guess I don't have to do anything now because we have somebody to do that. And the teens might stay involved for a while, but it was always a struggle to keep momentum.
It's a roller coaster.
It is, right. And so I think if we are, like, I love your idea about getting the teens together on Sunday night, but I think if we, summer is easiest because you can do it whatever rhythm works for us, but like if we can host one night and we provide the food and we do the little devotional time, and then they're spending the rest of the time playing games or whatever, or the parents are coming up with something fun to do or whatever. It takes a load off of you. It lets us own it a little bit, and it lets our kids be excited because they get to host. Wow, I got to see mom and dad do the devotional or whatever, and like that stuff just means something.
And I want to be honest, one of the things that I struggle with on trips, and some of you guys have seen it, is I get too, well, what's the right word? Administrative. And I just don't. I had the kids last year on a mission trip, like, kids tell me, hey, come play volleyball. You haven't played volleyball with us all week. Which is surprising from them because they'd rather make fun of me. But at the same time, it told me I just haven't slowed down. I haven't allowed myself to actually connect and build those relationships, which is what I love to do. And I'm not getting filled up that way and being able to dig in that way because I get too administrative. That's where I talk about getting more parent involvement. That's where I talk about delegating more. And so if it's at your house and you're taking care of it, I can do whatever you need me to do, but it allows me to just have fun with the kids. So, which is why I'm not making Sunday nights at my house very heavy, because I don't want to have to prepare it and make it super Bob. I want it to be, we'll do short time, maybe it's just unpacking the week or whatever, and then let's just play and have fun together. So.
And for us, we only get to go through this once, right? We have 4 kids, so we're gonna be in it for a long time. But we, I mean, you know, we get one youth group stage. You know?
Yes.
It's a fun. I've been looking forward to this, guys. This guy was born.
Yeah.
We'll make it great for him.
We'll love, I mean, I'm interested.
And we don't currently have a house to live in.
But soon we will.
You'll have an Airbnb we can rent out for a night.
You guys will have an Airbnb. We go.
You'll just charge admission to your Airbnb that
That's
night.
right. For a small fee.
Small fee.
You're welcome right in.
Just
Youth
the
group will
cleaning
cover
fee.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys have other things, or if you have other suggestions, I want you to know, I say it in every email, and I say it quite often, I'm here. I want you to communicate with me, and I want your students to do the same. And so it's just hard for me to know exactly when and where, and I need to do a better job of digging in and reaching out to parents, not just kids. So thank you for being here. I know we went way longer than I expected. We're probably out of nap area, and but I appreciate your attentiveness. I appreciate just, I don't think we wasted a lot of time.
I'm gonna say,
I don't know. But this, I believe this is important, and I'm hopeful they'll get more and more people every time we have a meeting, because being together, just parents and us, like that's important. So, thank you. Yes.
I've got a question. So, you mentioned connecting them with the older folks
Mhm.
and kind of doing some special things like that. I'm wondering also if we can't look as we start moving to summertime for like lawn mowing opportunities, things to get them
Okay.
up and doing. I know for my son, you're right, it's so easy to get stuck on the phone. And if you're doing something and you're not, it
Yeah.
makes you more productive or giving or, I don't know, or something that
I'm
they
all for what
feel
gets me out of the
passionate-
office in the summers.
Or maybe something that they all together feel passionate about for our community. Maybe
Yeah.
they all get together and they decide on something in our community that they think they can make a difference on. Because, I want him to grow up to make a difference in the world at some point, right?
Passion
And
project.
so I want him to be, in a good way, right? And so I want, maybe they can come together with something that they feel like they can really make some small difference in and come up with their own plan with it. Then they start developing some leadership skills
That's
and
the
things like
ownership,
that along
yeah.
the way. I don't know, just.
So,
There's typically about a 2/3 drop off from like a Wednesday night participation or like a Sunday participation to a service project participation. I think that's held up pretty consistently. Even that was the case.
depends on the time of year.
During the summertime. When you do like a regular summer.
And even early fall, it was good. And then, I think if we're consistent with it, it's better.
So what are you
Yeah.
saying, Aaron?
I'm saying participation in service projects drops off significantly midweek versus like who shows up for a Sunday morning. So I'm with you. I'll bring Kai to whatever service deal, but it really comes down to parents saying like, you got to be there.
One
hard
thing
to
I'll
sell
mention,
on it.
I'm not mentioning it very much. I have not fully developed it yet. There'll be something at the next meeting before the summer when we do induction. I said passion project because that's one of the things that, bucket list, if you will, being in the youth group, these are the things. I'm going to develop something, poster, graphic, something, and create a list of things that, and talk to people and maybe talk to you guys. What is it that we want our youth group, our kids in our youth group, to participate in, to do before they leave the youth group? So it's like a bucket list type thing. And so I'm going to be developing that this spring. And again, that's another thing that I can connect to you parents, because you'll have that list and you'll know the expectation. They'll know clearly, hey, these are the things that we think help you have a sticky faith and to become a leader and to become, involved in your community and fill in the blank. So
I think
it's coming.
letting the kids choose is a good.
Yes.
The leadership thing is really good too, because it's the kids feeling like their voice is heard.
Yes.
And they're much more passionate. We are too. You're much more passionate about something that you've been involved in, right?
Yeah.
And so I just think that's a great idea to let the kids
Yeah.
have a voice in that.
Well, and I'm wondering too, you're talking about sticky faith, because I'm gonna be honest, if you're sitting here, I don't know why it hit me this way, you hand me the sheet, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it, and it's amazing, you did an excellent, you're so OCD, I'm all about it. And you did a great job with it, by the way. But I'm sitting here, and for some reason, I know it's one of those moments that hits you as I look at it. I'm actually dating somebody who was a leader in our youth group growing up. I mean, he was the leader of leaders. He doesn't go to church at all. He hardly has any faith. He can watch you, and he could analyze every little speaking thing that you did, and his faith is almost negligible. And so I'm sitting here, I get this form, and I know he has been to 1,001 of these. He's done 1,001 of these. He's led 1,001 of these, but he doesn't have faith. His parent was involved, and there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, sticky faith, exactly what you guys are talking about. How do we get to that? How do we prevent that? It is the parents, but even if you have great parents sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
It is the activities, but even if you have the activities. So how do we, I mean, I believe we're in a war, honestly. And so I feel like we gotta be preemptive, because Satan's coming in for our kids. And so what do we have to do to preemptively create that seed of faith? And I think you've got come up with quite a few things, but I want us to keep thinking of, like, what do they, it has to be theirs. It has to be their faith. It has to be like, I see I need to come to church because the church needs me. Because I am a piece in the church, and the church needs my voice or my faith or my morality. You know what I'm saying? It may not even be a voice. It may be the way I live. Maybe that quiet girl that just lives really well. Somehow for them to see that they are essential here. I don't know. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm just
that's what I have to work through every day. I mean, that's the goal, right? Is to create something that lasts beyond. And again, I say that like I have to do that. I told you earlier, 5%. I'm like 5 to 10%.
Right.
So we create a structure and empower, and some of these things that I'm coming up with are based in that knowledge and that desire for our students.
Right.
And even the bucket list, and they can check off the bucket, but some of those things, when they're taking ownership of them on their own, and they're involved with other Christian adults, and they're seeing faith in action, and they're being able to be presented the gospel in a way that not only makes sense to their generation, because God doesn't change, Jesus doesn't change, none of that changes, but the way in which we receive and interact with the gospel, I think does, generation to generation, I think that's proven out. And so figuring out how we give that to them in a way when they go in the world that they see it in a way where they can still follow Jesus and reconcile these questions they have, right? And so we're about to start a study too, going over some of these questions, and I don't want to keep you here longer than that. I'll send out some details on that study. And that resource will be made available to everybody when we're done with it, because I have like a workbook and everything. And so,
and maybe just people's lives that they see that come in to speak with them that have made an impact in the church. Because when I look at, like, I think of you and Aaron and other people, I think, honestly, this is the most powerful thing in the entire universe. And that's why I'm here. There's so many different things I could do, but I'm here because this is the most powerful thing in the entire world. And it affects everything that you do on a daily basis. And how successful you are, whether it be monetarily or not, I mean, it affects everything. And if they can see that huge power that's there in people's lives, I think bringing in people in the church that have made an impact might really make a difference too. Does that make any sense?
yeah, no. Like everything you're saying it's what we wrestle with as youth ministers every day. Yeah, I like it. And then you want to meet and talk about all that stuff? I'd love to. But some of the stuff I'm developing, like that's the goal. I can tell you, my wife and my sister-in-law, raised by the same parents, raised in the same church, different youth ministers because Cassandra had Kelsey as youth minister for like 1 year. But still, they went through all the same stuff. And Cassandra stayed faithful in college and has never wavered. Not that she's perfect, not that she hasn't sinned, but she's never wavered in her faith.
Right.
I say that. We all have doubt. But it's not like she's ever like gone and stopped going or stopped. You know what I mean? I don't want to make it sound like.
Right.
But her sister had a faith crisis. And within that faith crisis, she didn't stay in church. She didn't stay seeking. She shunned it. And she was hurt by it in a way. And all the same circumstances almost. My wife connected more to a lot more adults, and a lot more families, and a lot more people in her youth group.
See, I think that's it.
And Kelsey didn't.
That's the key.
And she was more introverted. She had friends, very few. And she didn't connect as well. She knew the other adults, but she didn't connect as well and see it in action. And she saw some hypocrisies that she could not reconcile, that she never had those other connections to help her through them. So I'll stop it there because we could talk
Yeah,
forever.
But I think that is a great point. If we can't get as many people in as possible, because I'm
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
piggyback off what you said. The thing that gets me as an adult are those people that came in and make a difference. Those many
Yeah.
people that are living it that you can bring in. I think you're doing a great job of that. So.
Thank you. I hope we can do it. I'll pray us out real quick. I know we got to go. I'm sorry for keeping you so long, but thank you for your hearts. Thank you for your passion. And thank you for, in advance, for all the future help and involvement with our students. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we are grateful. Man, I'm so thankful to have these parents here. It's just such a, it's weird. I love this meeting. I don't always love meetings, but it's just fun meeting with the parents of the students that I'm trying to serve, and I'm trying to serve their whole family. And Father, thank you for their hearts and their passions and just for their just love of Jesus. I just pray that we're able to, as a team, raise these kids in the church and lead them in the way that they should go and give them a faith that they see makes the most sense out of everything that they could believe in this world that they have to go into every day. And Father, I pray that they will chase after Jesus as hard as they can until they take their last breath. Father, we're thankful for Jesus, and we pray that he is always our leader, and we always look to him in the decisions that we make for these students. I pray for this student ministry that you'll help us grow in spirit and in number and in truth and just in strength in our knowledge of you. And it's in your Son, Jesus Christ's most holy name we pray. Amen. Thank you, guys. And sorry I kept you so long, but it was good, I think.
What was the group back on different messages and stuff?
Hold on one sec. Okay, I gotta